Hello everybody, I am Tiffany and today I'm doing another book haul. Book haul. I know I did a pretty giant book haul not too long ago, but yes, since that video was recorded, I do have more books to show you. I'm very excited to show you them. A lot of these books, again, are trying to have the complete series on my shelf, so that way when I dive into the series, I can just binge read all of them. So let's go ahead and jump into this book haul so you can see all the wonderful books that I have. The first book that I have to show you today is actually kind of an oddball one. My mom got it for me, actually, but I wanted to go ahead and haul it. And that is the Her Campus Guide to College Life. I used to have a bunch of these Her interactive guides type of books when I was younger, and I really loved them. And I was really happy my mom got me this for college. I haven't been able to read it yet. I don't think I'm going to do a review on it necessarily, but I still wanted to haul it. These books are really fun. They give you a lot of good tips. I highly suggest you go pick one of these up. Thank you, Mom, for giving me this book, and don't worry, I shall read it, but wanted to put it on this haul for all of you peeps to enjoy. The next book I have to show you today is actually one I have digitally. I know, for people who know me, I like buying my physical books and having them all pretty on my shelves. I don't usually read books digitally very often, but this one was quite special because the author actually had reached out to me on Goodreads and asked me to do a review for it. I have a review up for it already. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check it out. And the book I'm talking about is called The Brightest Fell. There we go. This book was very interesting. I really enjoyed it, actually. It's a political thriller with a little bit of sci-fi mixed in. I definitely suggest you go check it out if you get the chance. It's a pretty quick read. It's not that long. It moves very, very fast. Thank you again to Nupur Chowdhury for giving me a copy of the book so I could review it. It was very much appreciated. Thank you! It was really cool. That's the first time an author has reached out to me to review a book, so I felt special. The next book I have to show you, I am super, super excited about. This is a book that's part of a series that is one of my absolute all-time favorite series. The series was originally a trilogy, but the author decided to release a book many years later, and this book is Rebel. This is the newest book in the Legend series by Marie Lu, who is one of my all-time favorite authors. I loved the Legend trilogy. I have a special connection to that one because Legend was the first book that I picked up in its debut. It wasn't popular at the time. I had the original cover version, and that was the first time I really discovered a book that was going to become really popular in the book world before anybody else really knew about it, and that felt really special. I've always kept up with Marie Lu's books since then. I think in every haul pretty much I've had a Marie Lu book. I pretty much read every book she releases because I love Marie Lu. But look how pretty this cover is. It's so beautiful. Cannot wait to read this. You have no idea how excited I am to read it. Marie Lu. I'm not going to tell you what the Legend trilogy really is about. You should just go in and read it. It's really, really good. Going in blind was awesome for me. That's the best way to read a book. The next two books that I have are completing a series on my shelf, so once I do start this series, I'll be able to just binge read all of them, which makes me really, 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 really excited. And these two books are A Map of Days and The Conference of the Birds. These are the next two books in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series by Ransom Riggs. I have not started this series yet, but I have all of the books now on my shelf, which is awesome, which means once I start this series, I can just read all of them in sequential order. I don't know much about this series. I'm trying to keep myself kind of blind. I don't want to know too much, and I'm really curious, especially once I get to these two books, how they are, just because Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children was, again, one of those series that originally was just a trilogy, and the author decided to write more books in this world. All of these series, all of a sudden, are just getting more sequels to them when they're not supposed to have more sequels, and it panics me because I want to get the books, but then I haven't started those series because I have other series I gotta finish. So more books keep getting added to my TBR because they're extending my series. I loved that Marie Lu came out with another book for Rebel, but I was also like, gosh darn it, because that was a series that I had finished completely and now it's incomplete because I haven't read that book. The struggles, man. These next few books, again, are completing a series on my shelf that I haven't started yet, but it was recommended to me by a friend a really long time ago, Zippy, and I decided to go ahead and get the whole rest of the series. That way, once I start it, I can just binge read all of them. And these books are part of the Ender's Game Quartet. The second book is called Speaker for the Dead. The third book is called Xenocide. And then the fourth book is called Children of the Mind. The first book, which I've already hauled, is called Ender's Game. Once again, this was a series that was recommended to me by my friend Zippy. I know there's a follow-up series. I don't know if I'm going to be reading that one yet because I know the world of Ender's Game is very big and very expansive, and there's a lot of books within that world. But I know for sure I am going to read at least the original quartet, and then I'll see from there if I want to continue on. I am excited for this. I know there was a movie adaptation of the first one. I don't know how it is, but once I read the first book, I will do a compare and contrast video of that. I'm excited to see how this series is. I haven't read a super duper pure sci-fi book in a good while. I'm excited to start it and see what happens. The next book I have is by another one of my favorite authors who is very similar to Marie Lu in the sense of that I will buy any book that they have out even if I'm not caught up. I do have the first book that I hauled in my last book haul actually, and the second book came out, so I decided to go ahead and get it, and that book is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, which is the sequel to Skyward. I have not read Skyward, but now I have the second book, Starsight, which means I can binge read. Look how big it is. It's so nice and pretty. I love Brandon Sanderson so much. There's a lot of series by him I haven't picked up yet because I have to finish MISTBORN. Brandon Sanderson is a master author of fantasy. If you haven't picked up a Brandon Sanderson book, I highly suggest you go and pick one up. MISTBORN is my all-time favorite series by him so far. I haven't read the other series quite yet. Steelheart is pretty good as well. I have a book talk on all of them. I'll leave links to them in the description. Just wanted to say real quick before I continue, no spoilers in the comments. A lot of these books I've been making sure I go in blind on, so that's why I haven't really given you descriptions of a lot. But I'm trying to go in blind more than anything. That way when I read them, it's more of a shock and more enjoyable. I like going into books blind and not knowing what to expect. I'm so excited! I have a lot of hardcovers. Usually I buy paperbacks because they're cheaper. The next book that I'm hauling, I'm a little bit upset at myself that I am hauling this book because I refused to buy this book for a very long time. But I went ahead and got it because I am a completionist and I don't know if I'm ever going to get the rest of the series in book form. So I bought Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, which is a whole history on the Targaryens, I believe. If you've ever watched Game of Thrones, Daenerys is a main character. She's a Targaryen. I believe it's about her family. Look how big this is. When I saw this in the stores, I was upset because I was sitting there going, okay, you can write this baby right here, but I'm still waiting for my 6th and 7th book and your main series. I really wanted to read it, but I was also going, why can't this be the next book in the Song of Ice and Fire series? Please. The show was so disappointing. I need a better conclusion pronto. But yes, I decided to go ahead and get the book because it's taking him forever to write the next couple books. I'm even late for the struggle of waiting for the next books. There's people who've been waiting way longer than I have. Oh, there's illustrations in here. Look, it's illustrations. That's cool. This may be all I get. I'm gonna take my A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones content as much as I can. And I think it would be cool to learn about the history of the Targaryens. Game of Thrones, it's actually called A Song of Ice and Fire. The TV show is called Game of Thrones. It's a very, very popular fantasy series. I've read all 5 books. They're pretty good. I would suggest you read them. Just be warned, it's taking forever for the last couple books to come out. I don't even know if they're gonna come out anymore. But it is a very good series. The show is very good. Just ignore the last season of the show though. I'm still upset over that. Now these next few, oh my god, these are heavy. They are again completing something on my shelf. A while ago, Eddie had gotten me the first compendium for the Walking Dead series, which I did haul at the time, and I found out that the comics had actually ended. So I ended up getting the next few compendiums in here, and I can just binge read the Walking Dead comics. That includes Walking Dead Compendium 2, Walking Dead Compendium 3, and Walking Dead Compendium 4. That's right, that means I can binge read the whole Walking Dead comic book series when I eventually get to those. The Walking Dead, the comics are by Robert Kirkman. There's a really popular show on AMC that's been going on for I think 10 plus seasons now. I fell off of it, but I'll probably rewatch it once I read these just to kind of compare and contrast a little bit. Very, very excited to do that though. The Walking Dead is post-apocalyptic. There was a disease that took over, turned people into zombies, and it follows these group of people trying to survive in this world. It's not really about finding the cure, it's just about them trying to survive in the current world that they're in at that moment. These next few books are kind of completing a series. It's actually a follow-up series to a current series that I haven't finished yet. It's a follow-up to the Mara Dyer series, which was really popular. I've only read the first book, but I do have the next two books as well. And I decided to go ahead and get The Becoming of Noah Shaw and The Reckoning of Noah Shaw by Michelle Hodkin. This again is a follow-up series to Mara Dyer. I believe it is in Noah Shaw's perspective, who is a big character in the Mara Dyer series. Mara Dyer, the first book, I really loved. It's very dark. It follows this girl who I believe can cause death in some way, if I remember. It's been a while since I've read that book. It's very crazy, makes you question what's real, what's not. It's a very good series, but like I said, it is very dark. If you want to pick me up, this is not the series for you. I have no idea if these are lighter in any way, but I loved Noah Shaw in the first book. I'm excited to have books in his perspective. There's one more coming out, I believe, and I'm definitely going to pick that one up too so I can binge read all of them. This next book I believe is more of a novella, but I believe it's super important to a series that I am going to start eventually in life. It's part of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas, and this book is called A Court of Frost and Starlight. Again, I think this is a novella, but usually when Sarah J. Maas adds extra stuff, it's very, very important. So I decided to go ahead and get this book. I love the cover. I love how it feels. It's nice. And I'm super excited to start that series eventually. I haven't read Sarah J. Maas in so long. I have so many Sarah J. Maas books to get to as well. Too many books! I just know that A Court of Thorns and Roses was supposed to be kind of a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't know much more than that. But yes, I'm glad I got this so I can read it after I catch up with the rest of the series and probably get some extra content that is very important to the story. These next two books are again completing a series that actually one of you guys suggested to me. I had gotten the first book not realizing it was a series. I decided to go ahead and get the next couple books. That is part of the Flat Out Love series, Flat Out Matt and Flat Out Celeste. Now Flat Out Matt I believe is maybe Flat Out Love from Matt's perspective. I have not read Flat Out Love yet, and then Flat Out Celeste is the actual full sequel to Flat Out Love by Jessica Park. I'm super excited to read this series. I haven't read a contemporary in forever too, so I'm super excited to be able to dive into these. It's fun to read contemporary series, I think. And thank you again to whoever suggested these. I will definitely be reading and review these for you. See, I got the entire series. And the last book I have to show you today, last but definitely not least, is a book that has been on my highly anticipated list. I have been so excited to pick this up, and it is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. That is right, another book in the Hunger Games series. It's a prequel about President Snow, and I know a lot of people were very kind of against that because President Snow is evil. I was very excited to be able to see some backstory on President Snow and get to know him better. So I'm so excited. Also, Suzanne Collins hasn't written anything in forever, and I'm really happy that she finally did. I always love a good villain story. One of my other favorite series by Marilu, actually Young Elites, is a series that follows a villain. I originally thought it was going to be kind of his rise to power, but apparently it's him having to coach this person in the Hunger Games for the 10th anniversary or something, I believe. So that sounds very interesting and very intriguing. I'm very, very excited to jump into this, and I probably will really soon because I need to read this pronto. And look at the cover. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty. So many beautiful covers today. I'm in love. This is my favorite one that I have right now, in all honesty. I'm so excited. I want to learn more about President Snow. And that is all of the books I have for you today. I'm not going to try and pick them up because those Walking Dead ones are horrible to carry. I tried carrying all of them at once. Did not work out. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you do see that I do pay attention to recommendations that you guys give me. Thank you so much for joining me. If you do have any other book, movie, or TV recommendations, please leave them in the comments. I love getting your suggestions and being able to do reviews on them for you. If you want updates on anything, you can go to my blog, tiffanybooksanmovies.blogspot.com. Just kind of gives a summary of what videos I have up. If there's any important video updates, it'll be there. And it also updates you on acting stuff because I am an actress, so in case you're ever curious about some of my acting adventures, you can go check it out there as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome day, evening, afternoon, whatever time of the day you're watching this in. Don't forget to be awesome. All right, goodbye!